Journal entry, April 16th, 1893. The moon tonight hangs low and pale, like an unblinking eye cast over my grand creation. From the uppermost turret of my castle, I observed its feeble glow spilling over the labyrinthine streets of the White City. It softens the sharp edges of man's ambition, turning marble to silver and casting shadows that creep and twist as though alive. The fairgrounds hum with industry, the workers oblivious to how fleeting their marvels are. They toil for a legacy, though most will leave with little more than aching backs and empty pockets. They are much like moths, chasing light until the flame devours them. The world outside my doors celebrates progress and ingenuity. They marvel at the towering Ferris wheel and the electric wonders that promise to illuminate even the darkest corners of life. They do not suspect that here, within these walls, another kind of marvel unfolds. Mine is an art not of invention, but of orchestration, of human lives and their inevitable, fragile endings. I write tonight to commit to memory the events of the past few days, lest they slip away like so many other small triumphs. The woman, Miss Lila Perrault, arrived precisely as I had predicted. Her manner was elegant, if not ostentatious, an ambitious seamstress who spoke of opportunity with such conviction that it bordered on desperation. She was precisely the sort of soul that thrives momentarily in this city, bright, eager, and tragically unaware of the predators circling just beyond her vision. When I greeted her in the parlor, her gaze lingered on the ornately carved molding and the chandelier's glittering arms. "This is a palace," she had murmured, her voice trembling with awe. I smiled, for indeed it is a palace, though not of the kind she imagined. A palace must serve its purpose, and mine is one of singular devotion, to the study of mortality, to the mechanisms of fear and surrender. She spoke of needing lodging and an advance on rent, though she blushed when confessing it. I assured her that my establishment's mission was to elevate those who sought to better themselves. I played the part of the benevolent landlord with ease, offering her not only a room but a position as my personal assistant. "Think of it as an apprenticeship," I told her, my tone warm, even paternal. "You'll learn not just the ways of the trade, but the subtleties of enterprise." Her eyes sparkled at the offer. I remember thinking how beautifully her naivety framed her, as if the fair had lent her its glimmer. For the first few days, she busied herself with tasks I'd assigned, sorting ledgers, cataloging inventories, polishing surfaces until they shone with the same false luminescence as the fair outside. She never questioned the locked doors or the muffled sounds that echoed faintly through the halls late at night. People rarely do. It is remarkable how the mind will conjure comforting explanations for what it cannot face. Tonight, however, marked the culmination of her purpose here. I summoned her to the basement under the pretense of inspecting a shipment of fine silks, a rare and valuable acquisition, I told her. She followed eagerly, lantern in hand, her shadow trembling on the stone walls as we descended. The air grew heavier with each step, though she seemed not to notice, caught up in the excitement of her imagined fortune. In the chamber, I gestured toward a crate resting near the center. She knelt to examine it, her back to me, and I felt the peculiar mixture of exhilaration and calm that always accompanies these moments. There is a purity in them, an intimacy unmatched by any other human connection. To hold another's life in your hands is to glimpse eternity. As she lifted the lid, her expression turned from delight to confusion. Beneath the false lining of fabric lay the instruments of my work, restraints, blades, a cruel and glistening array of devices whose purposes were written in their design. She turned to me, her eyes wide with questions she could not yet voice. "You've been a most diligent apprentice," I said, my voice soft, almost tender. "But every endeavor requires sacrifice." Her scream was brief, cut short by the ether-soaked cloth I pressed to her face. I lowered her gently to the floor, marveling at how the light of the lantern softened her features. She was, in that moment, a study in repose, her expression one of uneasy surrender. Now, as I write, she resides in the hidden chambers beneath my castle. The next phase of my experiment begins soon, an exploration of the threshold between fear and oblivion. Each subject brings me closer to understanding the intricate machinery of the human soul. Outside, the white city gleams, its facade untarnished by the darkness within. The fairgoers will not miss one seamstress among the throng. They will continue to marvel at their electric lights and grand pavilions, blissfully unaware of the shadows creeping ever closer to their precious flame. Tomorrow I will walk among them once more, the benevolent doctor with kind words and a ready smile. They will trust me as they always do. Trust is, after all, the foundation of progress and of my art. H. Holmes.